Hello and welcome to In the Box Seats. Paul Joice joining me. How are you, Joycey?
I'm great, Mitch. Of course, it's been Derby Melbourne Cup
Yep.
week. We're heading into Champions Day at Flemington on Saturday.
Yep.
And Ella out of play today. She's
Yeah, we've
late
lost
scratching.
one. The week was too big for her.
Late scratching.
Yep.
But I'm back this week
Yep.
after being a late scratching last week. And the weather's good here at the moment. They're expecting fine weather into Saturday as well. So good tracks up here in Queensland, particularly here on the Gold Coast on Saturday. Of course, Eagle Farm's already a good track.
Yep.
And then we go down to Flemington. It'll be good down there too, I'd expect.
Gold Coast was pretty lucky with the storm activity.
Yep.
Of course, Eagle Farm on Derby Day lasted, was it four races?
4 races, but about 7 hours.
Yeah. It was pitch black, but the races were still a chance of going ahead,
Yes,
apparently.
yes.
But here we only had a minor delay, and
Yeah.
the storm band passed through rather quickly. So it was just hit and miss over the weekend,
Yep.
all parts of southeast Queensland. But Gold Coast virtually missed most of it, and we'll be on a good track
Yeah,
on
the
Saturday
forecast
for
is terrific.
Stakes Day. So
Forecast unreal for the next few days up here.
Melbourne may not be so lucky, but we'll touch upon Champions Day later in the show.
Yep.
Melbourne Cup, any joy?
Yeah, we both backed the winner.
Yep.
It's been a while. Half yours, Caloundra Cup form.
Yep.
I think that was the win that really stood up for me, and then going forward, followed him into this prep. I think the Turnbull run was the one run that I thought, well, hang on, he's right up to his
Yep.
grade. He ran on against the trend, and Caulfield Cup I thought was his race, and once he won that, you just had to stick with him
Yeah.
in the big one. Obviously, you've got 13 internationals, and you're doing replays from Germany, France, Japan, and US, and it's
Yep.
like you just have no idea how they've settled in or anything. So stick with what you know. That was the Aussie horse, and he got the job done.
There was a few surprise packets, Goody Two Shoes. There was market support throughout
Yep.
the day to suggest it a race well, and it did. It loomed as the
Yeah.
winner with Middle Earth, but half yours, Jamie Mellon was just able to get that split
Yeah.
when the leader was Land Legend was gone.
Yeah.
An inch
I mean,
either way, and
it was a brilliant ride.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, as you say, an inch either way, she strikes all sorts of
Yep.
bother, but it just worked on the day. She was meant to win it, I think. It was
Yep.
her turn,
Yep.
and second female, first in 10 years since Michelle Payne. And just a great story. The Melbourne Cup every year throws up good stories.
Rachel's turn next.
Rachel's turn, hopefully not 10 years.
Yeah. But
she rode Arapaho perfectly.
I
by
will
the way.
say when
Yeah.
they turned out of the straight
Yeah.
after that tricky draw and she lobbed sort of fifth, sixth.
Yeah, I think she was fifth defence from barrier
Yeah.
19. So she did her job, but Arapaho, the old boy, he just
Yeah.
wasn't up to it.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
mark that down. The date here in the box seat, Rachel King, next Melbourne Cup winner. Or Tommy.
Tommy, he does his best to get down to 53, but it's taken a toll on him, I think.
But exciting for both of the guys to be involved.
Great to get two riders,
yeah.
your two riders in the Cup. That's all.
Tommy had a good Derby day.
Great Derby day, a couple of winners. Real nice horse. We'll touch on him too, because that Caballas is backing up.
Yep. So that's the Derby Day Cup wrap. Big crowds here at the Gold Coast Turf Club, both days. Close to around 10,000 through the gates for both days. Juicy Cup days seem to flatten out there for a while with crowds, but it seems like it's back again in a big force, and so too Derby Day.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I don't think Eagle Farm had the crowd that they were expecting, so they might have all come down here for the day.
Well, they were there for about 2 days, weren't they, for Cup Day? You
Yeah,
started the
that's
day before and finished
right.
on Wednesday, I think, didn't you?
It was a long one, so maybe the crowd were actually quite good.
Yep.
They just might have come in shifts.
Yep.
I'm not sure, but I know, speaking to a few people up there, they thought the numbers might have been down at Eagle Farm.
And you were at trackside for about 17 hours, I think the broadcast
I
was.
think it was 18 and a half.
Yeah.
So it was like, I was going to start advertising like a telethon, start ringing up and donating money. Bernie and I were there for that long. But anyway, we got to know each other even better. We had a good laugh throughout the day. And, I know what her kids are doing. She knows what my kids are doing. So it was fine. And we actually found a few winners up there too. I think the punters would have come out in front.
You probably would have had time to do the form for the Wednesday fixture in Brisbane, but there was no races.
Oaks Day form was well and truly covered, so we're right there. Now, what do we got?
Magic Millions.
Here.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's now our time to shine in January. We've got the debut night meeting in December on the 19th, so under the lights, which is always a good pointer towards the Magic Millions. The GC 1000 will be on that night, major lead up to the Sunlight, and then it all begins with the Sunlight on the first day of the carnival into the Magic Millions day itself. Now, tickets were on sale last week, and the demand is just absolutely through the roof. In fact, it's broken the computer system. Ella's up on the roof at the moment trying to get the aerial, the World Wide Web to work. But the demand is just
Good.
So GA and Event Centre are only available.
Already. So we're down to general admission, or you've got to
Yeah.
go to the event with the event centre. I was up there a couple
Or
of
a
weeks
spare
ago.
seat in the broadcast box,
And,
but I'm not much fun on Magic Millions
That
Day,
event
so-
centre, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
If you haven't done an event centre day before, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you were able to.
I was in and
Men
out of
Matter,
there,
yep.
in and out of there for
Yep.
Men Matter Race Day, and like for such a big room, there are nearly 1,000 people.
Yeah,
in there.
it doesn't feel like it.
doesn't feel like it. It's
Yep.
not too noisy. You can watch the races. You're either there to talk to the guys
Yep.
next to you, or you want to watch the races. You can do both, and the food and drink always top notch.
Yeah. So head to the Gold Coast Turf Club website, all the socials, and find those last minute tickets. But by the way, they are selling rather quick.
Coming into Saturday, look, the three big Group
Yep.
1s down at Flemington for Champions
Yep.
Day. The sprint race is going to be interesting. A few of the Everest horses backing up. Jolie Star, we've got Tentris,
Yep.
the 3-year-old who won the Coolmore. He's favourite at the moment,
Yep.
so he's going to add a lot of interest to the race. They're the big guns. Giga kicks back. He was brilliant first up. So it's going to be a great race
Yep.
down the straight. They're all well found in the market. I think Caballas could be the surprise packet. He won so well last week. He's
Yep.
on the up. He came through the Sydney Stakes where he was the run of the race, backing up 7 days later down the straight where he thumped them last week in an easier race.
Yep.
But look, he's $16, $17. I just think he's going to run well. Can he beat all three of those big guns? Not sure, but each way, $16, $17. I don't think he'll be far off.
They're forecasting 25 mil on Saturday at Flemington on the day.
That's interesting because
And there's talk that 10 Tyrus, if it's heavy, won't go, which would open the race right up. I think a heavy track would open the race right up.
Well, I mean, they're all talking heavy tracks for Cup Day.
Yeah.
And it was a soft 5, and it raced really well. So,
Yep.
I mean, Flemington...
Well, it's back to a good for the Oaks.
You've got to absolutely pour down on race day for Flemington to be wet.
Yeah.
Because it just dries so quickly.
If it's good 4, soft 5 type track, I think with the weight advantage, 10 Tyrus.
Yeah.
The only, again, grand finals to afterthoughts potentially.
This is this race day every year.
Yeah.
It's the last shot at the stumps, and the horses are backing up 7 days from a peak run.
Yeah.
So that you can get some weird results on this day.
And years ago, it was the sprint and the mile, and that was and horses did target it. Well, now it's the sprint, the mile, and the 2000, and it does seem like there's a lot more emphasis on the last day than the first day of the carnival and the week before. So there's, like you said, there's horses that will peak on Saturday that may have been a run short the week before or 2 weeks ago.
I mean, look at the mile. You've got Pride of Jenny backing up. You know what I mean? She's going to have to do what she did 7 days ago again.
Yep.
And she's favourite or close to favourite, and she makes the race. Like, you just have to watch Pride of Jenny. She's either going to do what she does, or she's going to get to the turn and she's gassed.
Looking at the pattern of her of late, that has been. I was doing the form yesterday. There's a brilliant run.
Yeah.
What she did last Saturday, and then it's off the cliff.
Yeah.
And then back up again, and then off the cliff. So, if patterns are anything to go by, it's the off the cliff run on Saturday. But if she's allowed to dictate the race like she did on Saturday, and she might be hard to beat.
Well, you got Mr. Brightside there too, who he sort of keeps her honest.
And Chow Wolf.
Chow Wolf probably out the back and needs her to come back. I think when you're riding against Pride of Jenny, you've got to go out there and think, well, if she does what she does, she's going to win the race. But if she hits a wall at 400, we want to be the last one hitting the line. You don't want to be the first one to get to her. You want to be the last one to get there, because once she's gone, she's gone. But if she does what she did last week, she just wins.
So your thoughts on the mile? Will you select her or?
Look, I'll probably have something on her.
Yeah.
Mr. Brightside will do the stalking, and I could easily switch to him on the day if the track's sort of playing away from the fence or something like that. But she's the one I think of what she did last week, and she's just so exciting. You love those sort of horses.
The 2,000 metre race, it does look Via Sistina's on paper.
Absolutely. I mean, she's done it before. Did it last year? She backed up out of Cox Plate in this race and won.
It's arguably the weaker one depth-wise, because she, on paper, does stand out.
The Cox Plate field, she beat them. She should be beating these. But again, she's got to peak again. So it was a tough Cox Plate win this year compared to last year's where she romped it in. So, I mean, $1.70 doesn't excite me, but I'll be watching the race with plenty of interest.
Again, she's one that if it was a heavy 9 or 10, she would be vulnerable, because it's not her favoured sort of going. But if it's a soft 4, a good 4, soft 5, or on paper,
I think you're right. I think anyone betting on Saturday, wait until the day. We'll see how the track is, see how the weather is. My tips at this stage sort of for that soft 5, hoping the rain doesn't come.
Gold Coast, we race here Saturday, back on the turf. As we said at the start of the program, it'll be good track, rail out 3 metres down the side, 7 race card. What have you come up with?
Yeah, I like Chilpur in the third.
Yep.
Number 7 should lead, has a good gate, gets a claim for Liam Martin, was very good up at the Sunshine Coast last start when I was working up there. Led them up, had to absorb a lot of pressure from a good horse and was only sort of knocked out of it the last little bit, coming off a big win at Gatton first up. So Chris Anderson's got Chilpur going well. And throttle response in the last race, 7 number 1, Chris Waller trains. Ran second to Mr. Buster in a midweek event in town last start. Mr. Buster backed up that Saturday and won again.
Yep.
So it's good staying form. They've found a 0 to 60 and he's a 60 rater. So they've absolutely hit the nail on the head as to grading. And they scratched him from a much stronger race on Tuesday. So obviously the plan is, win this race down here on the Gold Coast. And I think they've found the perfect race for throttle response in the last.
I thought Pasima in race 5 under the set weights conditions of the race. I'm just waiting for this horse to produce its best form that it had a few preps ago, but there was good signs last time around when it was able to pick them up in a smallish field. So they found a class 3 plate, so they beat the handicapper and hard to beat. And the Gillian Heinrich, Ben Rogers team are flying at the moment.
They are.
Stiff to lose that race.
They lost one on protest there on Tuesday.
So that's it. That's a wrap. It's been a big week. Obviously, we've got races here on Saturday for Champions Day. We'll see you trackside. Joycey, thanks again. We'll see you soon.
Will do. Thanks, mate.
See ya. And that's in the box seat for this week.